Two, some main activities. For example, I'll use life as the example. We moved from Nigeria, UK. When we first moved to the UK, it was really challenging, navigating financial stress. All the things I was able to do in Nigeria, even if I have the resources, I might not be able to do, which I don't even have the resources. So that makes me to often not don't happen because of the African mentality back home. So I have to sit down with my wife, and we have to have a family meeting. This is the financial income. This is what I want to be doing. This is what you have to be doing. I cannot be winner provide all. I cannot provide all. To be sincere, I cannot do all. So initially, it affected my mental health. So many outbursts within the house. So many do and don'ts. But by the time I started to integrate into the system, the first thing I did was to understand what is mental health, which often is not mentioned in Africa, which is very, very important. I attended seminar and I began to embrace my emotional vulnerability. What I cannot do, I'll tell you I can't do it now. Because I'm in a new system, I need to reintegrate myself into the new norms. So I began to set examples as models. I look at people that can use as examples for my models. Okay, who are these people? Go to people, understand what mental health is. How do I navigate this? Because all these little financial stress can actually break your hope. Don't let me say knock you down. Can actually break your hope. So I started to understand the redefinition of who I am as a person. So because it has so many implications of bringing your children, providing for your household, integrating to a new system, and at the same time maintaining connection to African Nigerian culture in terms of raising your children. So what I did was to look for a good environment where I can integrate a kind of African environment like African church where my children can grow, they can listen, because all these things have an impact on my personal mental health. So that is one way that I've been impacted and my masculinity has been redefined, is so to say. So redefining mental masculinity, there are key aspects that I will just want to highlight with you. One is that there is need for intellectual leadership and emotional intelligence. As men, we need to develop our intellectual capacity. Whether we are in Africa, we are in diaspora, we have to develop our masculinity and we have to redefine it. The role that we play, while we still maintain the headship of the house, is not in a form that affects our wives and children. So I say mentorship over dominance, emotional openness. Let's be open. We have to redefine it by being open. Be open to your spouse. Be open to your children. Like in my house now, we have every meeting to define what happened in the week, what was the problem, how do we solve it, how do we move forward. If I were to be in Africa, I will be, you cannot do that, you must not do that. And to be candid, life is changing. Life is changing. We need to redefine all these roles. Cultural context. We have to challenge the gender stereotype. What a man can do, a woman can do better. They've been telling us we are young. So, as men, we need to advocate for gender equity. We need to balance it. To be sincere, we need to balance this. Additionally, what is killing us in Africa is that we keep quiet when we have mental challenges. Mental challenge or mental health is not when somebody run mad on the road. No. When you have some things, emotional activity that is bothering your mind, that is affecting your mental health, please talk about it to someone. You have to talk about it. Embrace collaboration and partnership. We have to collaborate with our spouse. I'm the head, raising shoulder. That era is far over. Even in Nigeria, even when you can provide everything that your family needs, you still need to collaborate.
Prof, thank you very much.
Because if you are married, you are in need for a purpose.
Prof, thank you very much.
The last but not the least point is creating new vision of masculinity for future generations. We have to encourage the future generations. We have to create new potentials, and we have to advocate for social justice. In conclusion, because of my time, we have to accept the new societal norms that are good and healthy. We have to speak up. As men, speak up. We have to seek support as men as well. Additionally, we have to attend by CPD, continuous professional development in any sphere of life that we find ourselves, just like we are doing today. It might just be a point that you pick from my presentation that will turn everything around. So we need to attend CPD, and we must be adapt. Don't say, I can't change. I'm the all in all. I'm the CNC. My dear brothers, it's not like that. Life is changing. Life has changed and changing. So we are adapted to locally and in.
Thank you very much, Prof. Just hold on so that we can take response.
These are part of references that I used, and I want to say thank you for paying attention.
As we invite the next speaker. The next speaker who is going to take the second presentation is Dr. Demola Adegbile. While he's on standby, Dr. Demola Adegbile, I'd like to take his profile. I hope we have him online now. Okay. Brief profile of Dr. Demola Adegbile. Dr. Demola Adegbile, the pastor in charge of Ogun Province 26, Redeemed Christian Church of God, is also the pastor in charge of RCCG Christ Embassy of Bantoko, Abeokuta. A technocrat with years of experience in both the private and public sectors. He is a retired director of a federal government agency whose mandate is to stimulate, promote, and facilitate foreign and local investment in the Nigerian economy. Adegbile holds a first degree in political science from the University of Lagos. He also holds an MBA from the University of Ibadan and a Master of Guidance and Counseling from the same institution. In addition, apart from a doctoral degree in personnel psychology, also from the same institution, that is University of Ibadan, he is a fellow of Institute of Personality Development and Customer Relationship Management, Nigerian Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, and also Institute of Personnel Management. He is also a certified management trainer. Within an early career background in the civil service of Oyo State and a decade in the private sector in various positions like marketing analyst, business development manager, general manager, he returned to the Federal Public Service as a director. As a pastor, apart from being in charge of Christ Embassy Parish, a 350-strong congregation, he is responsible for the administration of 145 parishes in Ogun Province 26 of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG. Dr. Adegbile is happily married to Dr. Olufumi Adegbile, an entrepreneur. They have a daughter and two grandsons. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for our second speaker, Dr. Mopelola Arowosafe.
Hello, Dr. Ademola. I think he dropped from the call.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay. I start video. I've pressed the start video button. I don't know why it is not showing. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, Dr. Adebile, we can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, all participants. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. And because of time, I think it will be good for me to just go straight to the paper. You know who I am. I'm a pastor. I'm a preacher. So I'm going to be looking at redefining masculinity from a biblical perspective. The first thing I would like, what I'm about to do is, my presentation is very simple, and we're going to be looking at masculinity, the way it is defined now, and how I believe that it has been wrongly defined. And we will also, with the help of scripture, look at what real masculinity is and how it is practiced. The difference between a real man and a male is going to be highlighted too. And then I will just round up with a few suggestions that will help us. Let me quickly acknowledge and appreciate the presentation of Professor Fomi. Very, very deep and very highly illuminating. I must confess that I gained a thing or two. Now, masculinity is one of the most misunderstood, most misinterpreted, and most misused term. What Prof mentioned something about how masculinity is seen in different cultures. Yes, this one I'm talking about here covers all cultures. Masculinity in many cultures have been misinterpreted to mean physical might. The one with the loudest voice who can shout everybody else down is considered a man, and it can be a process from anybody. A lot of misunderstood gra to mean being masculine. Another misleading thing is features of a male. The features of a male, talking about a broad chest, hair on several parts of the body, maybe on the face, beard, mustache, even in the genitals. Those are the kind of things that some people look at and they say, he has become a man, simply because of those. But of course, that is not what it takes to be masculine. Of course, all these are a part of it, because
those features differentiate a male from a female. Standards of manliness or masculinity vary across different cultures. I've said that before, across different subcultures, ethnic groups, and historical periods. Prof has dealt with that very well. Traits traditionally viewed as masculine in Western society include strength, courage, interdependence. I even read of a place where the way to show that you are a man is how much whipping you can tolerate. When they beat you and you don't cry and don't beg, and then they say, yes, you are a man. Yes, of course, that is not the scope of what we are looking at goes beyond that this morning. Now, my Bible tells me in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11, it says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. What that tells me is that if you are not a man, what I'm looking at man, woman, opposite, word and opposite. I am looking at the evolution of becoming a man. What you have gone from is childhood. And when you consider childish behaviors, you can imagine a child. When things don't go their way, what do? They blow up, they explode, they shout, they fight, they throw tantrums, they scream until they have their way. If they don't have their way in any given situation, they begin to sulk and try to intimidate everybody around what they want. A cross-section of children are babies. When they call somebody overgrown baby, this is where I'm approaching. Babies are most self-centered creatures in the world. If a baby is hungry, everybody must know about it. And there's no rest for anyone until they are satisfied. If they are tired, they get cranky and begin to do the exact opposite of what they should do. For instance, when they are supposed to sleep, instead of them to sleep, they will choose to stay awake, and everybody around must stay awake too. They are just problematic. All of these are okay as long as you are a baby. Let me also add, babies are totally irresponsible. Children are irresponsible. Children are, what's that word? Petty, very petty. It pushed me first. I have 2 grandsons, and I have seen them in operation. They are the best of friends, and they are also sparring partners. They fight for no reason. He pushed me first, and I pushed him back. He pinched me. Who pinched who? And they will be able to, that is the way of children. The sad thing is that, as I was saying, it is okay as long as people are babies and children. But some of us, male adults, continue behaving like this, even in adulthood. We fire everybody around. We call people nasty names if they don't agree with us. We storm out of meeting rooms when they are saying things that are not, in line with our views. Sometimes you will see grown adults threatening to leave the church if the brethren or pastor don't do as they want. Childish behaviors also manifest in tendency to retaliate in every given situation. You hurt me, I hurt you. You push me, I push you. You snub me, I snub you. You overtake me when I'm driving. Have you seen that before? Some people, when they are driving, you overtake them. they must overtake you back. Childish behavior. So Paul said, when I became a man, that is, when manhood came, that means there's a difference between childhood and manhood. Again, I must refer to Prop's presentation when he talked about the transition from childhood to manhood. But I am saying here that manhood is not a chronological age thing that you are trying to attain. Yes, I know that in official circles, they say 18 years, when you are 18 years, officially you have become an adult. That is for official purpose. The truth of the matter is that some people grow fat beyond, after 18, and they are still babies in their thinking. A lot of times you see babies or children in the body of an adult. And that is where the mistake comes in. You assume them to be adults, to be real men. Meanwhile, they are babies. And that's how you have what we call overgrown babies. Okay? Now, manhood is a stage in your development. Is a stage. It's not an age thing. It is a stage that you attain to. And it doesn't occur at a particular stage. I have, in the course of my calling, I've had to deal with 72-year-old children. Yeah. People who are actually 72 years old in age, but their behavior is like that of a child. And I've also seen 26-year-old men. What makes the difference? It's simple. The Bible said, Paul put away childish things. When you have outgrown childish thoughts, childish understanding, when childish toys don't excite you anymore, you are ready to be a man. And as I said, unfortunately, because of those of us who limit our assessment of people to the physical appearances, a lot of children are being encouraged into playing with adult things. One adult thing that many are fooling around with is marriage. Marriage is not for children. Marriage is not for babies. But because they have all the essential features of a man, is working. Being childish doesn't mean you can't make money. Everybody makes money. Okay? Now we look at all those things and we say, yeah, if the man is ready. And they mess up the marriage because they don't have the maturity, they lack the sense of responsibility that goes with manhood. Now, I'm speaking to somebody here today. Just like Prof said, somebody may just pick something here today that will change their life forever. You may have reached the age at which you believe others cross over into manhood. But there's no need to be ashamed. As long as you are alive, as long as you are hearing this message this morning, you can still cross over. Let me also say this. It also takes determination to actually attain unto and stay in real manhood. Paul decided to put away childish things. Not that they were not pleasurable. He just decided. Folks, what I am saying this morning is that it is a deliberate thinking on your part. It is you who will make a decision that you are no longer operating as a child. You want to begin to operate like a man. And the first thing, of course, is to take responsibility. Children don't like responsibility. They only like to enjoy the benefits of anything they can around them. So how do you know a real man? How do you know how real men operate? Real men are tough, strong, and very secure. Which toughness am I talking about? Of course, physical toughness is there too. You need good health and being strong to be able to play your role as a man. They are tough, they are strong, but they are so secure in their masculinity that they are tender-hearted, sensitive, and affectionate. A real man doesn't have to be brutal. Brutality is not manliness. It is not show of strength. Real men are known not because of their sexual prowess. I mean, impregnating 3 women at the same time, or sleeping with as many people. That is not the way to show that you are a man. Real men are responsible and they do things that will benefit people around them. Real men applaud when someone dares to stand up for what is right in God's sight. Real men inspire manhood wherever they go. And every male who come under their influence virtually become more manly. I can quickly give you an example from the Bible. David in First Samuel. David in 1 Samuel 22, if you read the first 2 verses, when he was running into the cave of Adullam, we are told that all kinds of men followed him into the cave. Discontented men who were in debt, people you could consider as the dregs of the society, people that were considered rejects, social misfits. They were the ones who went with him into the cave of Adullam. It is this same fellow that we are told in 2 Samuel 23, verse 8. 2 Samuel 23, verse 8, that were referred to as mighty men of valor. Why? Because they have been under the tutelage of David for some time. That's how a real man does. A real man influences people around them positively. Real men make manhood attractive. They make manhood attractive. The first definition of manhood for a boy is his father. In most cultures, without any exception, a man who is standing well, they usually end up being the hero of their sons, of their sons. So your son, as a real man, they will want to be like daddy. When your manhood inspires others, your sons will want to be like their daddy. Your daughter will want a husband like daddy. Your wife will be happy and proud of you as a husband. Your sisters will be happy to have you as their sibling, as their brother. You will be a source of pride when you carry and play the role of the man in the family, in the community, in the home. The question I want to ask someone here this morning is, do you make your folks feel proud of you? Do you make your folks, your people, are they proud of you as a real? The model standard of manhood is Jesus. Like him, you have a good balance of your personality. For instance, Jesus is described as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He's also described as the Lamb of God. Let's look at those two creatures. A lamb is a young sheep. It's supposed to be vulnerable, fragile, meek, those, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Yes, please.
Can I continue?
Continue, sir.
Okay. I said a lamb is a delicate animal, vulnerable, meek, fragile, docile, you know. Meanwhile, a lion is strong, is fierce, running alone kind animals in the forest. Now, Jesus was able to balance the two sides. He was the Lamb of God who came to take away the sins of the world. And he is also the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He was able to balance the two. He knew when to be what. I want to put it to somebody here this morning that the Holy Spirit can help you too to balance the two sides. You've got to know when to be what or which. Some people, some men, they are lambs outside, very gentle, easygoing, very tolerant, very patient, very forbearing. They forgive easily. They do all those things. They are very nice outside, but at home they are lions. And you will just be spreading here all over the place, intimidate people to show that you are the man of the house. You've got to know when to be what and where. David was a shepherd and at the same time was a general, was a poet and was a warrior, was a priest and was a king. Every home, every family, every community, every church, every nation, indeed every generation need real men around and not just males. Not overgrown adults or adult males whose only claim to manhood is the physical features they have and probably to their chronological age. Manhood is not limited to that. Masculinity is not defined by how old you are. It is defined by how responsible you are and how mature you are with people. Children are vindictive. They can be vindictive. They don't forgive easily. I mean, they harbor grudges, not that they have capacity for that much, but the childishness in them brings that out of them. He pushed me, so I must push him back. And until somebody intervenes, no peace unless he does what he has in mind. That's what I'm saying. We need men who will be tolerant, who will be patient, who will be forbearing, who will be able to overlook lapses on the part of others around them. We need people who are forgiving, who will not hold on to wrongs done to them. Before I begin to wind down, I didn't even look at the time. I have an appeal to make. The family unit is the smallest or the most basic unit of socialization.
2 minutes more.
Society is built around the kind of family or homes that we develop. A well-developed society is a function of a well-developed home or a function of well-developed homes. The kind of society that I am seeing ahead is a source of concern, and I want to say it along the line that Prof also has spoken. There's a lot of difference in the development of the girl child in an average African home. There's a difference in the development of the girl child and the boy child. The girl child is prepared better. They train them. You must know how to cook. You must know how to clean the house. You must know how to do domestic chores. You must know how to keep the house tidy and neat, and you keep yourself also nice and clean. You must be able to. You must be well domesticated, and at the same time look like a model and everything. You know how to combine all those things. You must be able to balance all these things and do well. But the male child is usually not given that much attention. The male child, as long as he's going to school, or them pass, they'll carry me. So male children, many of them grow up not to know what real responsibility is. They are grown up not to know how to be of use or help in the house. Of course, the Prof said things are changing. Yes, that is true. But boys need to be helped, even from childhood. It is the responsibility of every home to help their boy children, so that they will not become a body.
Very well said.
The well-trained girl child.
Very well said.
In her own development.
Thank you very much for.
This is very important. I think I've said enough this morning.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I will leave now after a few questions.
Okay.
I'm challenging somebody here this morning. I'm not seeing you, but I know you are hearing me.
Yes, we're here. We are hearing you loud and clear.
Are you properly positioned as a man in the home, in the church, in the community? Are you properly positioned as a man? Do you still talk, think, reason, and understand like a child? Are you still enjoying childish toys? Are you a man or a male? Do you make your impact felt anywhere you are? Do you inspire manhood in others? Do you make manhood attractive? How many people have told you before that when I grow up I want to be like you?
These are very germane.
Are you anybody's role model?
We want to thank you, Pastor.
Everybody has got a lion and a lamb trait in them. Do you exhibit yours appropriately? Do you know when to be what? On that, I rest my case this morning.
Thank you.
My references are from the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for Pastor Mopelola Arowosafe. Very wonderful presentation. He has said that our model should be Jesus Christ. What a tall order. But we know that we can do everything through Christ that strengthens us. Another round of applause for Dr. Mopelola Arowosafe for that wonderful presentation. Right about now, we'd like to take our third talk. We'd like to invite the Assistant Inspector General of Police, retired, and the Special Advisor on Security Matters to the Ogun State Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome AIG Olushola Kamal Suba for his paper. Okay, I'd like to take his profile while you remain on standing, sir. Born in 1959, Assistant Inspector General of Police Olushola Suba, retired, had his tertiary education at the prestigious University Paris 8, Saint Denis, France. He started his police career in 1986 as a cadet officer and rose through the ranks to an Assistant Inspector General of Police before his retirement in February 2019. He served the Nigerian police in various capacities, both locally and internationally. He worked as operations officer, crime officer, officer in charge of administration at different times. He was also at the Lagos National Central Bureau between 1996 and 2004, and at different times headed the Administration Division, General Crime Division, and Planning, Research, and Statistics Division of the NCB. He also served as the Administration Officer of the Training and Development Department of the Force before his deployment to the Nigerian Police Staff College, Jos, Nigeria, as the coordinator of courses. His last deployment was as the head of the National Central Bureau, Abuja, a position he held for over 3 years until his retirement. He has attended several trainings, conferences, seminars, locally and internationally, as a speaker, resource person, and participant. He has also participated in several United Nations, African Union, and ECOWAS peacekeeping missions. He was the delegate for Africa on the Interpol Executive Committee between 2017 and 2021. He is the incumbent special advisor on security to the Ogun State governor. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for our third speaker, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Olusola Kamal Suba, retired.
Good morning, everyone. Well, after a professor and a doctor, I don't know what a common police officer would say. But I will try, at least to say something. I've prepared the paper that I will read, and then interaction can come after. Redefining masculinity in Nigeria. I'm going to base my paper on the context of Nigeria. Professor made mention of Africa, and then the doctor gave a biblical perspective of masculinity, but I'm going to look at the Nigerian context of masculinity. It is seen as a quality, state or degree of being masculine or manly, but as a concept, it is defined by the rules, behaviors, and trials and traits that society attributes to men. Just as we have heard from Professor and even from the doctor, it is the quality that tradition bestowed on us as men, the way tradition sees us as men. That is what masculinity is all about. Ní ọ̀dọ̀ wa, ní ilẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà, ó ní àwọn nǹkan kan tí àwọn èèyàn fẹ́ ká ṣe, tí ìṣẹ̀dá wa, tradition wa tó fẹ́ ká ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọkùnrin, n tá ń pè ní masculinity nìyẹn. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí dọ́kítọ̀ ṣe sọ ṣáájú, as he said earlier, it is not being, forceful, being brutal, doing bragado and what have you, that is masculinity. It goes deeper than that. In Nigeria traditional views of masculinity, it is centered on strength, equality, authority, and the responsibility of providing for and protecting one's family. These norms have been shaped by Nigeria's diverse ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds, creating a tapestry of expectation that has reinforced these traits over the generations. According to our tradition, just as men, we are expected to provide for our family. We are expected to protect our family, just as we heard from the doctor. In our Yoruba parlance, they say, ọkùnrin níjọ ìlédá. That means a man that cannot protect the family or that cannot provide for the family. Or they say ọkùnrin níjọ́ ogún le. That is somebody who is seen as a man, a symbol of masculinity. In recent years, however, Nigerian society has witnessed shifts in perception of masculinity, influenced by globalization, economic challenges, and social advocacy. This paper explores these changing views, examining how Nigerian men navigate this evolving road while addressing the factors that influence this transformation. We shall try to explore and understand how Nigerian masculinity is being redefined today, considering the social, economic, and cultural context driving this change. Traditionally, and in the olden days, it is believed that you should go to farm very well and provide for your family. In fact, in times of war, it is believed that men should go to war and defend their communities. But things are evolving, things are changing nowadays. Ní àsìkò tá a wà yìí, àwọn nǹkan ti ń yí padà sí ìgbà tí tẹ́lẹ̀. Ìgbà tí tẹ́lẹ̀ ni a máa ń rí wípé ọkùnrin ló gbọ́dọ̀ máa pèsè. A máa ń rí pé ọkùnrin ló gbọ́dọ̀ máa pèsè fún àwọn ẹbí. Tógun bá bẹ́ sílẹ̀, ọkùnrin ló gbọ́dọ̀ lọ láti lọ jagun. Ṣùgbọ́n sì yìí, a ti rí àwọn obìnrin ológun àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. A ti rí àwọn ọkùnrin tó ń jagun. A ti rí àwọn ọkùnrin tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé traditionally àwọn obìnrin ló máa ń ṣe bíi ká máa tọ́jú ọmọ. Ṣé mọ̀ pé a ti believe, we all believe that taking care of children, especially parenting, especially is for women. Men should go to work. Women should stay at home and take care of you. But now things are changing due to some economic hardship that we are facing and to some other factors. Traditional perspective. The roles and expectations of a man. Traditional Nigerian masculinity has long been rooted in the values of strength, resilience, and authority. Men are typically seen as breadwinners, expected to provide for their families, and embody authority. Masculinity in this context equates to a man's ability to fulfill responsibility that demonstrate capability and reliability. Nigerian society traditionally places a high value on marriage and fatherhood, reinforcing a man's status and social wealth. In fact, you are not seen as a man until you are married. And when you are married, you are expected to do what a married man should do. You are expected to provide as a married man is expected to provide. It's not only taking care of your immediate family, even the extended family. As a man, everyone will come to you, and it is seen as your responsibility to provide for them. So, tí ọkùnrin ò bá tí ìgbéyàwó, wọn ò ní rí bí ọkùnrin, wọn ò ní rí bí ẹni tó ti bàlágà. Ó dìgbà tó bá ṣe ìgbéyàwó, tó bá gbéyàwó sílé, tó lè tọ́jú ẹbí, tó lè tọ́jú ara, tó mọ̀ pé yes, eléyìí ti di ọkùnrin. Culturally, throughout Nigeria's various ethnic groups, cultural practices and customs have bolstered the image of the ideal man. For example, in our communities, ceremonial practices celebrate men who embody strength, courage, and leadership. Folklore, proverbs, and storytelling often reinforce these roles, depicting men as strong, unyielding figures who face life's hardship to protect their family. Because it is believed that a man should go to any extent to protect family. That is the cultural belief that if a man cannot go to any extent to protect the family, to provide for the family, he is not a man. Such practices solidifies an image of masculinity rooted in unflinching authority and strength, shaping expectations that man maintain these ideals. And apart from this, we still have some challenges to all these cultural and traditional roles. And one of them is the economic shift and employment pattern. You will discover that nowadays, because of the situation of our economy, things are changing. It is not expected that a man should be the lone provider for the home. I want to relate a personal experience. My wife is a nurse. And while we were growing, while we were growing in our marriage, things were very hard, especially when we got born again, because fortunately for us, we got born again, we gave our life to Christ on the same day. And it means some things must go. As a police officer, I need not tell you some of the things that we do as police officers. But because of change in status, things must change also. So those sons that were coming in stopped coming in, and things became very difficult. Just as I said, my wife is a nurse. She has been trying, she has tried and tried to write exams so that she can go abroad and practice abroad without success. Every effort was in futility. Until one day, from my profile that you just read, I worked at NCB, Lagos. NCB is another name for Interpol. I was head of Interpol, that was my last deployment before I left the police. But as a middle-level officer, I worked at Interpol for about 7 years. And one day, one of our protocols just called me. He said, "Oga, don't you need a visa for UK?" Something that my wife has been struggling to get for a very long time. I said, "Why not?" So he collected my passport. I gave him the passport of my wife also. And in 2 days, visa came. The day my wife got the visa, he told me I should allow her to travel the following day. Because of the fear of naysayers, they will say, "You want to allow your wife to go to be alone in UK, you will be alone here, and this and." So in order to beat those naysayers before they say anything, he said I should just allow her to travel the following day. Where do I get money for ticket? Where do I get this? Well, the day after, she traveled. But she suffered. Because you were not prepared for her going abroad at that time. But what am I trying to draw out from that particular story? Masculinity is evolving. If it were to be in the olden days, I would say, "No, I can't allow my wife to go." Or even telling me that she wants to go the following day, I would say, "No, until I decide when you go." But we are seeing changes now. She went, she suffered there, but to the glory of God, our 2 children went there to join her. They were given visa when they knew the mother was working. I was working with the United Nations there. I just wrote a letter. I was in Congo. I just wrote a letter to the embassy. My wife is in UK. I'm in Congo. My children are in Nigeria. Nobody to take care of them. I want them to go and join my wife. And that was how the visas for the 2 of them were granted. Their mother had a permit for 2 years. She had spent 6 months out of the 2 years, and then they gave them visa of a year and a half just to tally with that of their mother. And I want to let you know, I am the only one with a lone citizenship in my family. We have dual citizenship. What am I saying? It is expected traditionally or culturally that a man should provide for the family. But she went there, the children went to join her. She was responsible. Fortunately for us, they continued their secondary education free of charge there, because my wife worked as a nurse, so they continued their secondary education free of charge. By the time they were getting to the university was where they had to pay. My wife was working, she was taking care of that front. I was taking care of the home front. They will have to come back and live in a house. We have to prepare a house for the family here in Nigeria. So I was taking care of that here. He was taking care of the responsibility of educating the children here abroad. So you can see the evolving trend of masculinity. We don't bestow everything now on the men. So challenges, economic shift, employment. You see men coming to town now, shifting from rural to urban. They come to the urban centers, they don't have jobs. So it means somebody must fend for the family. So that is why masculinity is not a rigid thing. It's something that must change and that is evolving. Influence of globalization and media, because the whole world is now a global village. What is happening in America is what is happening now in Nigeria. We see what is happening there and want to copy it here in Nigeria. I remember I was with a pastor, a very senior pastor in UK some times ago, and he was telling me about a family. He said, telling me about an aged family. A family, the two of them over 60 years. And then they were alone, their children are not with them. And they will eat. And they have a roster for how to tidy up the kitchen and prepare their food. So on Monday, it is the husband that will prepare the food. On Tuesday, it is the wife. The wife will wash the dishes and so on and so forth. The husband will take care of the laundry. And the man was telling me, this is the way they are living their life abroad. So these are things that we are seeing because of globalization that we are inculcating now. So you can see that things are changing. Education is another challenge to masculinity and exposure to new ideas, just as I've said. So in Nigeria, we have a rise in alternative masculinities, and that is involving the roles in family dynamics. With shifting socio-economic conditions, Nigerian family dynamics are changing as well. Many Nigerian men are now taking active roles in parenting. Many men are now, putting on themselves the roles of parents. A role that has been left to women alone, but nowadays, because of the changes that we are experiencing, men are now taking up the role of parenting. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ṣe ń sọ, nísìnyí ní Nàìjíríà a ti ń rí ìyípadà. Tẹ́lẹ̀, ọkùnrin ni ó believe pé ó gbọ́dọ̀ pèsè fún ẹbí. Ọkùnrin ni ó wò pé ó gbọ́dọ̀ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ kí àwọn obìnrin tí ó wà nílé tí ó máa tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ. Ṣùgbọ́n sì àwọn ọkùnrin náà wọ́n ti ń ṣe iṣẹ́ àwọn obìnrin. Àwọn náà ti ń dúró sílé, wọ́n ti ń tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ. Àní tó dẹ̀ farú àwọn nǹkan báyìí ni pé ojú wa ti ń là sí. àti ní ìmọ̀ tó pọ̀ sí, àti rí wípé kì í ṣe ọkùnrin nìkan ló yẹ kó máa ṣe gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ rẹ̀. Another factor is gender advocacy and the role of NGOs. Just as we have now, this conference that we are having is another avenue for people to be enlightened that this is what masculinity should reflect. So NGOs and advocacy groups have played an influential role in promoting gender equality and redefining masculinity. Organizations like STAR, that is Stand to End Rape, is a youth-led social enterprise advocating against sexual violence and providing prevention mechanisms and supporting survivors with psychological services. And other organizations, other agencies, they have raised awareness on issues like domestic violence, encouraging men to view masculinity through the lens of compassion, respect, advocating for Nigerian men to embrace empathy and emotional intelligence as strength. In fact, the Bible made us to know in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 18 that a woman is a helpmeet for man. Whenever I want to describe what a helpmeet is, it's like I want to carry this table. I carry this table on this side, and then my helpmeet carry it on that side. If the table is tilting to one end, what is on the table may fall. So if somebody is a helpmeet, it means I'll carry here, he carries there, and we carry it together. That is the biblical perspective of help. So it is expected in the evolving trend of masculinity that men should be compassionate, men should show empathy and not apathy. Men should consider their wives or the female gender as their equal. Role of allies in gender equality. Nowadays, we are having men as allies. They are equally playing a role. They are equally advocating for equality. By saying equality, we are not saying that a woman should take the role of a man. But what we are saying is that we should see ourselves as partners. Partners in our family, partners to, move our family forward. We should see ourselves as help for each other. Mental health and masculinity in Nigeria. Traditionally, Nigerian men have been conditioned to avoid emotional vulnerability. As expressing struggles or mental health issues is often perceived as a sign of weakness. Sometimes our men, by playing that role, they suffer in silence. They box in every of their struggles, every of their challenges, every of their troubles, without letting the other party know that this is what they are going through. But there should be a platform even for men to express themselves. That, these responsibilities that you have bestowed on me is enormous. There has to be something that will be done for a partner or a help, to be able to share in that body. So the stigma has led many men to internalize their struggle, avoiding discussions about mental health or seeking help for fear of societal judgment. Emotional intelligence has historically been valued as markers of strong masculinity. Well, let's just go to the defining masculinity in popular culture. Okay. In conclusion, let me just tell us some of the men that are advocating for this. You know, our Nollywood is helping, our music industry is also helping to advocate for equality. There is a play written by Professor Wole Soyinka. We read it in school. I don't know if it is still in the school curriculum of today. That is The Lion and the Jewel. It's a depiction of the distinction of masculinity, the modern day masculinity and the olden day masculinity. In that particular play, we have a teacher who is known as Lakule, and the chief of that community whose name is Baruka, and a beautiful lady called Sidi. The teacher wanted, express his love to Sidi, wanted to marry Sidi. Sidi insisted that the man should pay the bride price and then take her as wife. But the man was showing the fact that they have to be partners, expressing love, enlightening BC on what partnership should be. But the king, Chief Baroka, has the final say, he has the authority. You know, I believe in Yoruba then that any. So, in this context, the chief decided to be faster than Lakule, and he now Besele Sidi. Just summoned Sidi to the palace and then put Sidi among the wives, and that was how Sidi became the wife of Baruka. Now, you can see the man saw, the chief saw that his authority is dwindling. The authority was dwindling, and he decided to quickly take an action that will reassert his authority. So he quickly sent for the lady, put the lady in her house, and that was the all. And happily, expressing love and this and that, lost out in that particular competition. So, just to let you know that even redefining masculinity has been a theme that has been on for long. Professor Wole Soyinka depicted what masculinity, the two aspects of masculinity in that is played. And I want to just let every one of us know that it is evolving nowadays. We don't rely on brute force and strength and bragado any longer. But we should see our partners, the other gender, as equal in the progress of the home, of our community, of our nation. Thank you for your attention.
Wonderful. Cerebral. The Bible says in Proverbs 13 verse 20, he that walketh with the wise shall be wise. A companion of fools shall be destroyed. We thank God for your wealth of experience. Please, another round of applause for AIG Suba. Oh, you retired. Yeah, Suba. What's an AIG? Always an AIG. Okay, and our for that wonderful paper. Please, another round of applause for Baba. Please, another round of applause for him. Oh, he also went into the literary world. Wonderful. Literature mirrors life. The mimetic theory of literature. Thank you very much, sir. So proud of your presentations. Right about now, we take our fourth paper. And the resource person to present this fourth paper for us is a unique person. He's unique in several ways. He's a pastor, and he's also the husband of the birthday girl today. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker, the fourth speaker for today, our father, Pastor Mopelola Arowosafe. He should be upstanding as we take his citation. The citation will be read by my colleague, Shegun Lashile.
Thank you very much. Pastor Ezekiel Mopelola Arowosafe, CPN, ACIPL. He is a trained architect with many years in private practice. He holds a master's degree in environmental management from the then University of Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. He is a graduate of the American Academy of Project Management with a postgraduate diploma in project management. He is also a member of the Chartered Institute of Project Management, Ghana. Pastor Arowosafe holds postgraduate diploma in theology from the Redeemed Christian Bible College, postgraduate diploma in tent making from the Redeemed Christian School of Missions at Osun State. He is a graduate in Christian discipleship from the Redeemed Christian School of Disciples, respectively. His hobbies include studying the scriptures, traveling, and being around his family. His favorite games are chess, Monopoly, and Scrabble. He has several recognitions to his credit, included in such are the Redeemed Men's Fellowship Zona Patron, the Boys Brigade Life Patron Award. He sits as a member of the board of directors of several organizations and NGOs. Included are the God's Heritage School, the Lineage of Great Initiative for Family, Logic, and Dorcas Foundation. He is executive director of the Complete Crown Nigeria Limited, a building construction and property management firm based in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He is currently the assistant pastor in charge of province administration in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Ogun Province 26, Abeokuta. He is a teacher of the word by calling. His minister both within and outside the country. He is a great father and a loving husband, married to his beautiful sweetheart, Mopelola Arowosafe, and they are blessed with wonderful children. Once again, join me to welcome Pastor Ezekiel Mopelola Arowosafe, CPN, ACIPL.
Thank you. I want to sincerely appreciate the visionary of this great vision for the privilege given to me to stand here this morning. Thank you so very much, ma'am. It is my prayer that you will celebrate many, many more years. Your father died at 101. You will outlive him. I want to welcome again Dr. Mopelola and our dear pastor. I don't have a presentation this morning, but I have a story to share. In this story, I want to believe some of us will learn one or two things that will change our orientation when it comes to the theme for this particular conference. I'm a product of a polygamous marriage. When in the book of Genesis chapter 18 verse 19, God says something concerning Abraham. He said, I know him. I is going to teach, train his children in his own way. I came from a family that the father and the mother were not living together. And that really affected me right from the beginning. My father was not always available because he was not living with my mother. I was living with my mother at the beginning, and when I started primary school, I was transferred to live with my maternal grandmother. So I really lacked a fatherly role. When I was in primary school, I joined a gang of 3 boys. Because in primary school then, what we believe is what a girl cannot do, a boy should be able to do it. So we always want to prove to the girls among us that we are boys. So there used to be a T junction before my primary school. Ní oríta mẹ́ta yẹn, oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀kọ́ náà máa ń gbé síbẹ̀. Oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀kọ́. And in those days, I don't know nowadays anyway. Nǹkan tó bá fi ń ṣẹ̀kọ́ ń gbà ya bí biscuit, sweet and the rest. Now, the belief of the boys there was that when you urinate on church sacrifices, you have neutralized the boys. So, on a regular basis, I was eating at that church. On a regular basis. Except if there was no sacrifice there. That was how I started. And we were, the girls there will see us and say, what are you doing? I'm a boy now. And later when I moved to secondary school, it grew worse. Because the grandmother that I was living with doesn't have time. No question, nothing. So when I got to secondary school, I think I was in form 3. Nígbà the house of eré ìdárayá. And some boys called me and said, Kunle, you said you are a man now, you are a boy. How can you prove to us that you are really a boy? You don't smoke, you don't drink. You are a girl, Gary. Okay. So that means to them, for you to be a boy, you must know how to smoke and how to drink. So for the first time in my life, from 3, I drank 2 bottles of beer. I was not drunk. I said, this is how to really prove to the world that I'm a boy. There are people today that are into all these vices, all in the name that they want to prove to the world that they are what? They are men. If not for the grace of God, I could have died before that. I remember I said I didn't have a paper. Just a school for us to learn. Remember where I started from? My father was not available. There was a time we went to the farm of I was living in the hostel. So we went to the farm around the school. And our belief, the boys there, was that any farm, whatever today, any gem, anything about me, not the school farm. But the belief of the boys then is you are on top. But any gem, that was our belief. And there was a day, I was on a mango tree, plucking mango, not knowing that the owner of the farm was around. So I was on top. I didn't know that the other 2 guys that was down, I was plucking, throwing it down to them. I didn't know they saw the man with a big gun. They ran. As the man came, pointed the gun at me. Somebody asked, did they shoot the gun? If he shot the gun, I won't be here. So God delivered me again. And on and on and on like that. Beloved brethren, you don't have to do all this to prove to anybody that you are a man. And when it was time for me, I graduated from a higher institution. I was ready with my father then. And in Tokurumle was NYC orientation camp. That was in 1989. The orientation camp was still at St. Leo's College at Onikopo. My father called me the night before and said, "Kúnlé nílò ló ń lọ yìí o. Mi ò fẹ́ pé kó padà wálé kó wá sọ fún mi pé o rọ́mọ Ogun State kan tó fẹ́ fẹ́ o." He said he worked in Egbado. I don't know how far it is true. On the time PWD. Pé nígbà yìí tó bá lọ sí Egbado, pé wọ́n ṣe ń lé ata lọ́ máa ń lé oògùn lórí àtẹ. Tí wárápá ni tìgbà. So he didn't want any of his children to marry from Ogun State. And I said, yes, sir. And one thing led to another. God brought my wife to my life. From I never said no to my father. Excuse me, I'm sharing this because we have fathers in the house that always insist ẹni tó gbúdọ̀ fẹ́ nílé. Ọmọ rẹ̀ ni tó gbúdọ̀ fẹ́. Bàbá dẹ̀ ti pàṣẹ ọ̀rọ̀ jáde àṣẹ kù. That is what my father told me then. So I have to go back home and tell them something has happened. And when I got home that fateful day, irú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn máa ń ṣòro sọ bí ká máa fọwọ́ ní orí, ká máa fẹsẹ̀ hàn. I said, sir, it's like ó dàbí ẹni pé ọmọ kan láti Abẹ́òkúta. My father said, tó bá jẹ́ pé yóò kìí you better stop it. Why am I saying this? In those days, a gbọ́dọ̀ kọ ọ̀rọ̀ sí àwọn òbí wa lẹ́nu, especially the fathers. But not sincerely, our fathers can be sincerely wrong. We have had cases of children that were misled by their fathers. So we have to be careful. Because of my time. So eventually, I went back. We prayed. Some months after, I went back home. And my father said, okay, bring her. Let us see. I was sincerely. When I brought my wife to my father, it was love at first sight. Who will see this girl and we don't want to? Excuse me, I would have missed it in the age of marriage if I had listened and obeyed my father. Fathers in the house, let's be led. And when my father was still alive, if you want to make any demand from me, he had to root it to my wife. They became best of friends. Oh, I jumped a story. I said I came to Abeokuta when wise. That was my first time of, to live as a free man. So I told myself I was living at Adekunle, time had to show to the whole world now that we have what? bàbá rẹ̀ ọkùnrin ti dé. So I had a dream. You want to hear that? Yes. I told myself, to prove that we're a man, the numbers of girlfriends that we have at the NYC orientation camp will be determined by the number of alphabet that makes your name. Orúkọ mi Adékúnlé Arowosafe. Ṣé ẹ rí ìtọ́jú ń pè lọ́kùnrin lẹ́yìn sá? Ọkùnrin làdá. 17 alphabets is not what it takes to be a man. By multiplying women that you cannot take care of. In those days, nígbà táwọn bàbá wa máa níyàwó tó pọ̀ nítorí pé iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ṣe iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ni. So that they will have enough women and enough children to help them in their family. Ayé ti yí padà. Kíkẹ́ ṣáré ìṣẹ́ṣẹ́lẹ́sì wà. I've not mentioned the name of anybody. You are on your own. No. Praise God. But something changed. It is my prayer that as many men that are in the house that are heading towards the wrong direction, your journey will be redefined. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ. That faithful day on Zion Faith Ministry came to present, was a drama presentation. Omo Alayidere, the unprofitable servant. I can't forget, it was October 1989. Before they made an altar call, I found myself before the stage. And that was what marked a new beginning in my life. Excuse me, sir. All these vices, smoking, adultery, fornication, will mar the destiny of a man. There is no way there, sir. I don't have much time. Now it was time to get married. I hope you are not tired of my story. My wife took me home, just like I took her home. And one of his stepbrothers looked at me. Ó wò mí látòkè délẹ̀, ó wò sàákún mi. This one. And he said something that changed my life. He said, tó bá jẹ́ pé ó ní ọkùnrin tòótọ́ tó bá tó certain age ó ti gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́ ilé tirẹ̀. He was saying that to disdain me, but that was what fired him. And to the glory of God, my wife and I, we make sure that we disappointed that man, because we moved to our house even before that age that he mentioned. Now I'm still going somewhere. She took me to another man. They were working together in the same office. And the man told me, open the second. Ìyàwó mi ló mú mi lọ, ọ̀rẹ́ ìyàwó mi ni o. Ó ní Kúnlé. Gbogbo aṣọ kọ́ là ń sá lóru. Obìnrin ò ṣe é fi inú hàn o. Nǹkan tá à ń pè lọ́kùnrin nìyẹn o. Obìnrin ò ṣe é fi inú hàn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọkùnrin náà ló sì gbàgbọ́ pé obìnrin ò ṣe é fi inú hàn lóòótọ́. Tí n bá sọ sálárì mi fún aya mi, ó dìgbà tó bá lọ tán kó tó padà sẹ́yìn. It's a lie. I've never seen a person that can manage resources better than women. I may be wrong. I may not know of others, but I know of my wife. Ẹni tí ọkùnrin ẹgbẹ́ mi ní kí n má fi mú ọ̀nà yẹn. I want to plead with us, men in the house. We have to change from all this old tradition if you really want to be a man indeed. I will mention some of these old traditions. Some men still believe that women and their wife, they are just commodities, they are slaves. Wọn lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀ ìkọta ń pè lọ́pọ̀ tó bìnrin àtọkùnrin bá sọ̀rọ̀ kí lóbìnrin gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ panimọ́ ni ta ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ tájá jù. That's the belief of our fathers. But it's not supposed to be so. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá finú ayé ayé tàbí fẹ́ finú ọ̀sà. Some men have missed it today because they have failed to disclose everything to their wives. Wọ́n ló kó kì í fara pamọ́ lẹ́ni tó máa wẹ̀. So all this wrong belief, ẹ̀rù lóbìnrin, oúnjẹ ní kitchen ní ọ́fíìsì ẹ̀, ọkùnrin ò tiẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ yọjú sí kitchen is old tradition. If there is a place that I love in my house, in our house, I think it's my kitchen, especially when my wife is cooking. Àwọn ọkùnrin tó ń bá ń lọ sí kitchen tó ń yẹn lọ ayé àwọn lọ́wọ́ they are missing. Because there are free benefits in the kitchen. You are missing if you are not doing it. Because wọ́n ṣe ń taste ẹ̀ làwọn náà wọ́n ṣe kéde. I invited a man of God with his friends to a program one day in our church. It was an all night. So my wife was in the kitchen to prepare what they are going to eat before we go for the program. These two boys that followed my pastor friend were from, okay, don't let me mention where they are from, but they are Nigerians. So as my wife was cooking, I was in the kitchen, I was watching the plates. So when we are done and the food was to be served on the table, ìkan nínú àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ pastor yẹn kò lè fi mọ́ra mo ní pastor, you are a man now, for God's sake, for crying out loud, you are a man, you are a pastor, what are you doing in the kitchen? I said, sir, when I'm in the church, I'm a pastor. But when I'm at home, I'm a husband and I'm a father. Tí bá ti lo ìyàwó mi sí, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni bá ti bá. There is nothing wrong in helping your wife at home. They are not just sex objects. Àwọn ọkùnrin ní our belief is that anytime you want it, ó ti yé wa, you must be available. Ọ̀pọ̀ nínú wa lẹ́lẹ̀ pé wọ́n lẹ́ni tó bá bá tẹ̀lẹ̀ tútù kí ló máa ṣe. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọkùnrin àdúgbò síwájú káṣà wọlé bí olè lóru rí bí. You don't appreciate your wife. Omi síwájú. Kọ love letter mọ́. Ó ti ohun àtijọ́ nìyẹn. No. I want to plead with us. If we want to change our society, we have to start at home. And only charity begins from where? At home. I want to plead with us 1 minute as I just conclude. Some men are fighting you, Abida, Emomo, Lile. Ìkan tó fi ń jẹ́ ọkùnrin nìyẹn tíyàwó àtọmọ bá ti kọ́ hàn dáadé pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ kí ló máa ṣe to your tent, O Israel. Bọ́mọ ṣe sábẹ́ tébù ìyàwó sáwọ́ lóhùn yàrá. It's not supposed to be so. I play game with my wife. I play chess, I play Ludo, I play games with my wife. I'm a father at home. I'm a husband at home. Please, let's go back. We can be real men indeed. by training the children that God has given unto us, by showing them direction on how to go about it, by changing the old tradition and following the right path. And it is my prayer that as many of us that have heard my story, the mistakes that I made, I believe you are not going to fall into that such a mistake. I lack fatherly care, but as a father, I'm doing everything possible to make sure that ayé tẹ́ ṣe ò jẹ́ ìròyìn díẹ̀ ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we make it more louder? Thank you very much. At this juncture, if you have a copy of our program with you, you will see that we have a tea break. And currently now, I can see my materials that the tea break is going on. Can we give a round of applause for the convener for giving us that? Ẹ jẹ́ ká pàtẹ́wọ́, ọwọ́ kọlá bí mu tíì, ìgbà tí olùṣàmàlà àtẹ̀bà. Thank you. Now, when Pastor was talking, he made mention of some of these things that we did when we were pretty young. And the lesson there is, don't let your past haunt your present. Don't allow your past to haunt your present. I'm sorry, I kept the pastor today. And now he's a pastor. Won't allow everybody to affect the future at that time. And again, you don't need to prove your physical strength to tell us you are a man. Not every time. If I give you a dirty slap, you're born of 2 weeks. It's not. I think we'll be waiting for questions after our full sessions. So we'll come back to that. Once again, thank you very much for that inciting one. Quickly, I want to move to the next one. And I think this is going to be one of the moments we've been waiting for, as I will be introducing the next speaker. And my next speaker is, from what I have here, there is no Mrs. there, and there is no Pastor Mrs. So I will just read what I have here, and you can add other things to it by yourself. Here on me here, I have Mopelola Arowosafe. But as he's standing here, thank you. Mopelola Arowosafe is an international living coach, a passionate and seasoned pre-marriage counselor, and a life minister, family life minister. She is a soul-out advocate for stopping the cycles of wrongdoings and has a passion for the girl child to be street smart. She is the author of the best-selling books, Keys to a Fulfilling Marriage and Relationship Without Tears. She is the founder and CEO of the Lineage of Grace Initiative for Family, Logic, in Abeokuta, southwestern Nigeria. Logic is an NGO which has educational empowerment at its core mandate, using the instrumentality of 1. School outreach and boot camps, 2. Conferences, 3. Coaching and mentorship. Logic strongly believes that education is the cornerstone of empowerment for anyone. Its motto is mental reorientation through education. Mopelola's philanthropic efforts include our yearly Christmas parties and visits to the less privileged. Beneficiaries include private, government-owned orphanages, remand homes, lepers colonies, and villages. Assorted assistance has also been rendered to indigent schools or students, such as payment of school fees. She is a well-sought-after conference speaker within and outside Nigeria. Her speaking engagements and sermons on radio and television stations have been a great blessing to countless families. Over the years, she has spoken to hundreds of thousands of teenagers on sexual purity and the power of choice. Currently, leading an awareness campaign that girl child is special. Boys are more. Girls are more. Among secondary school students in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. She sits on the board of several NGOs and is a 2-time treasurer of the Association of Nigerian Authors, ANA, Ogun State branch. She is the founder and lead consultant of Interdenominational Counseling Class, ICC, now called the Complete Pre-Marriage Preparation School, the Complete Gen, a finishing school for teenagers, and the Complete School of You, a school for individuals going into marriage. She is the convener of the Lineage of Grace, a mentoring group on social media, where scriptures expounding the heroism of females in the Bible are systematically studied and shared with several women across different cultures, age groups, countries, and continents. Join me to welcome Mopelola Arowosafe, the convener.
Thank you so much. The profile is so long, but we didn't finish it because there's still the back. Okay, so let me quickly
Sorry, let me quickly use 1 minute to wrap up that. Now, Mopelola is a child of God and an ordained pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Massachusetts. She holds diploma degree in discipleship, theology, and mission from the Redeemed Christian Church College and School of Mission, respectively. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Food Science. Oh, no wonder. Pastor, you always like to be in the kitchen. All right. From the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. She's a certified school outreach facilitator, a trained peace ambassador from the Institute for Economics and Peace, IEP, Academy, Sydney, and a certified and licensed faith-based counselor from Spirit Broad Theological Seminary, Sweden, New York, USA. She prides herself on being a mompreneur, a full-time housewife, and a multifaceted businesswoman with an interest in fish, orchard farming, catering, millinery, fabrics, and grocery. She loves cooking. This cooking is revibrating. Okay. And reading long and family-oriented novels. Mopelola's favorite hobbies includes talking, traveling, and spending time with her family. Her passion is to see God's people grow and become awesome individuals, capable of raising kingdom families who love her. She loves and embraces change. She's the daughter of Senator Otumba Kunle Oyero. She hails from Oyero village in Ifo, contrary to Pastor's dad. Okay. In Ogun State. She's happily married to Pastor Mopelola Arowosafe, the assistant pastor in charge of province administration in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Ogun Province 26, who is an architect by training and